Hello everyone, this is a quick video to introduce you to the ways of knowing according to the theory of knowledge, and I'm going to use the scenario, how do you know that it's raining? Here's a cartoon I found. Why you stand in rain? It not raining. Yes it is. No it not. Waterfall from sky, that rain. That your opinion. No opinion, fact, see raindrops. No, don't need to look. Already know it not rain. If it not rain, then why you wet and me dry? Define wet. Ow, brain hurt. I think that really covers a lot of what we're going to see here with our 8 different ways of knowing. We're going to think about how we know it's raining using the 8 different ways of knowing that are identified in the Theory of Knowledge course. In our course, we're not going to look in depth at all 8 of them. We're going to focus on these orange ones here and pay a little bit of attention to the green ones. Sense perception. That's gathering information through your senses. You hear the thunder, you see the flash of lightning, you see the dark clouds, you feel the rain on your skin. All these things bring you to the understanding, to the knowledge that rain is there. However, there are some problems with sense perception. It could be just an illusion. And different people sense things different ways. And for example, a blind person couldn't say they know it's raining because they can see it raining. So it's a very useful way of knowing, but there are limitations to it. Language is another way we get information and get knowledge. For example, your father, using language, would say to you, it's starting to rain, would you bring in the bicycles and the patio chairs? From him using language, he would communicate knowledge to you that it's raining. But you may misinterpret what your father has said to you. He probably doesn't speak a different language to you, but that could be the case. Or you might not get the full sense that it's actually raining from his rather cryptic instructions there. And in order to know that his language, for his language to bring you knowledge, you really need to trust that he's a credible source of information. Emotion is another way of knowing. It's not just response to stimulus, but it's a way of knowing that helps us make sense of ideas, experiences, and behavior. Lightning and thunder are perceived for our senses, but they may provoke fear or an instant search for shelter. And those things indicate to us that it's raining. We can understand something is wrong with a friend even though he hasn't said a word. If my friend is scared of the rain and he gets scared, I could suggest that it's raining. However, we can't always perfectly and objectively interpret our emotional responses. It still is a very valid and very important way of knowing. Reason is going beyond our immediate senses and working out conclusions based on those premises. Okay, we can observe events that suggest rain and conclude it's raining without actually observing it through our sense perception. However, we've made hasty generalizations or made some logical fallacy. Maybe given the same information, others could draw different conclusions. Or others may draw the same conclusions with different information. I might see the rain, you might hear the rain, we both deduce that it's raining. So reason is not always as simple and it is often a lot more subtle than we think it may be. Okay, memory. Most of the knowledge that we retain is in the form of memory. You remembered it rained before in similar circumstances, so that would suggest it's raining now. But your memory may not be clear, may not be correct, maybe even false memory. And just because you remember it happened before in similar circumstances doesn't mean it'll happen again. There's a very strong connection between memory, emotion, and reason. Intuition is another way of knowing. You might feel like it would be raining or it should be raining, and that intuition or that immediate cognition without real evidence would suggest to you that you know it's raining. However, can you really be confident in your intuition? Definite connections there to emotion and reason. Faith is another important way of knowing, and it can be defined as a commitment to a particular interpretation of experience or reality. You have faith in the weatherman, and that faith makes you know that it would rain. But however, your faith might not be justified. Or if we think in terms of religious faith, you've prayed to God for rain, and you believe that God, in His great wisdom and mercy, would grant your request. But what's your faith in God based on? And does faith supersede fact? And why should God conform to your plans? You have to have a much bigger view and understanding of God rather than the specific desire for rain on a particular day. Okay, so that's a lot of complicated things to discuss and think about with that way of knowing. Imagination is also an important way of knowing. Definitely, if we don't have the stimulus of sense perception, or if we want to predict what might happen in the future or what could have happened in the past. So I want it to be raining, so I'll imagine it's raining, and then I know it's raining because it's raining inside my brain. That's not a very good example, but that could be a way of knowing that it's raining. Definitely connects to emotion and language. So in conclusion, what do we really know about the ways of knowing? They all help us. They could all help us to know whether or not it's raining. Most important, most reliable are probably sense perception and language. Probably reason would be up there as well. You could debate whether language or reason is more important. So you can use the ways of knowing separately or together in different combinations to get the knowledge that we desire. They all have their limitations, and some are more important in different contexts, but if we all work together, we will have a more accurate representation of what we actually know. I hope this little introduction was useful and helpful. You have a lot more discussions about the ways of knowing to come. Good luck.